you picked out a partner to start with that it was an old friend, right? Like you started with a buddy from high school and a buddy from college, right?
Yeah,
And Greg started with his best friend also. Can you speak a little bit to picking the right partner
yeah.
and what to think of through that when you're getting into this journey?
That's a good question. So a partnership, I'm never going to encourage or discourage a partnership. A partnership can be the best decision you've ever made. It could be the worst decision you've ever made. And so I think being slow to pick a partner is the wisest advice. I think most people that get into a bad partnership have been quick to partner and they haven't thought about all the scenarios that could unfold, all the situations. So we have a lot of students who have successful partnerships. We've had students who have had failed partnerships. We have students who have never partnered. And so, like you said, I've had a bird's eye view of what's worked and what hasn't worked. So I'll give you a couple things if you want to write this down, if you're following along. The more partners you have, the lower probability of success you have. So just adding a partner, I think, actually decreases your probability of success long term. However, if you pick the right partner, it can significantly enhance the quality of your life and could be a great business decision, but there is a risk associated with it. So I always tell people starting out, don't partner to start. Most people partner out of fear. I partnered out of fear. I didn't know what I was doing in real estate. So I looked for somebody else who didn't know what they were doing in real estate, which is my good friend, because I just felt like it would be safer together. And I wouldn't be standing there naked if I failed. He'd be standing there naked with me if we failed. And so that was a fear-based decision. And now it worked for us, but I'll be frank, it doesn't work for most people when you partner out of fear. I think you have to really look long and hard about the skills of your partner. So that's the next thing I'll address in the question is, okay, if you do want to partner, who should you partner with? So first of all, I would never partner with somebody just because they have contracting experience or because they're a real estate agent. You can hire a great real estate agent. You can hire the best one in the area. You can hire great contractors. You don't need to partner with them. So I see a lot of people say, well, gosh, I lack that knowledge in that area, so I'm going to partner with somebody who's a contractor because they know what they're doing. Well, you can hire a great contractor. You don't have to give up 50% of your company or 40% or 30%. Same thing with an agent. You can hire a great agent at 6%. So just because they have a knowledge of the industry in some capacity does not mean that you can't go acquire that knowledge, because you'd be much better off keeping 100% of your equity and going and getting educated. And what I've realized is that the more educated an investor gets, the less likely they are to partner. So why has it worked for Greg? Why has it worked for myself? It's because we partnered with people who have a tremendous, I had a lifelong relationship since junior high with one of my business partners. So that foundational trust and experience, I knew if we were going to fail, we were still going to be friends. I knew if we were going to succeed, we were obviously going to still be friends. We had that trust that had been built over years. And same thing with my other partner that I met in college. We had a long, good history of many years of knowing each other. So that was advantageous. So that really helped. We were all the same age. That definitely helps. I see people, none of us had kids at the time. We all had the same level of work ethic and same time commitment. So those things were all, looking back, reasons why we succeeded. I think the most important thing though is skill sets. Like if you're looking for a partner, look for somebody who has skill sets that you don't have. Maybe you're a really good communicator. Maybe you're going to naturally gravitate towards meeting agents and meeting sellers and doing the acquisition side, and you love working with buyers, but maybe you're not great with technology, or maybe you're not great with systems development, or maybe you're not as a detailed orientated a person. So find somebody who has skill sets that enhance. So 1 + 1 should equal 3 in the partnership. If you take two people that are both very technical, but both afraid to get on the phone, that's not going to work. If you take both people that are really good at talking to agents and sellers, but not detail orientated, that's going to be a messy business. And so those skill sets, I think, should complement each other. And that's critical to partnering. And so those are all decisions to make. And then the best advice I can give, I'll wrap it with this, would be do 1 or 2 deals, 3 or 4 deals first without thinking long-term. Let's just, because you can partner on a deal, but not get into a long-term partnership. That's what's great about real estate, is you can test the viability of this relationship by doing it on one deal, but not having plans to partner long-term. So I tell all our students, do 3 or 4 deals together, then make a determination, okay, let's partner long-term. So those are all things to weigh when you're looking at a partnership decision.
Then, you said one thing that really, we were talking about the number of partners that you have actually decreasing your chances of success. I agree completely. And, I have 3 other business partners, 4 of us. And people are always asking, how do you run a company for 15 years with 4 guys making the decision or ladies making the decision? Like, how does that work? So I wanted to peel back the curtain for you guys. When there's a really tough decision that needs to be made in your company with your partnership, what's your communication style? What have you learned over the years that, makes it successful 15 years down the road?
Yeah. One of the things we figured out very quickly, it took us 6 months to figure out, I should say very quickly. You have to have the ability to make decisions in your area of the business. So we looked at the real estate business, and at that time, all we were doing was fixing and flipping properties and then occasionally buying a rental. That was our business model. And so we said, okay, there's different divisions and different steps in this transaction. So I have to have total control of the ability to make the decision up until this step of the transaction. So if it was acquisition related or marketing related, I was the CEO of that particular decision. If it was project management and a construction decision, Paul was CEO, and his decision was the final decision. And so we had to make that arrangement. And the good thing is neither of us made perfect decisions, but we learned from those bad decisions. And had we second guessed and had we had to have a committee for everything, it would have been too slow. It wouldn't have worked. There were a couple of things that we would have to have a unanimous decision on. For example, we in essence, we didn't know we had it, but we had what we call an investment committee. So the final decision to buy a deal or not, we both had to decide and say yes to move forward. But every other little decision up until that point, I would make. And then once we were in contract and in doing construction, he would make. And so you have to have an operational procedure where somebody can make their own decisions. And I think that's the best way, because being a good business owner is being able to learn and make good decisions the majority of the time. And the only way to do that is to make bad decisions and good decisions and learn from those decisions.